All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. PauseChamps vs DaUlew, the World of Tanks March 2021 Community Cup Finals. Let's see who wins this match. It is going to be a very interesting game. Of course, PauseChamps on the attack here. DaUlew defending first. Dutch, of course, playing up top to watch the one-line approach. We have Oscar supporting him. We've got Andrew and Guest and Aska playing the left side, watching base 2. Let's see how this goes. Of course, on the other team, all 4 Carnarvons plus the 461 are pushing down the 0 line by the looks of it. Pyro will probably be playing up top, sniping from Foxtrot 0. So, let's see how this goes. Guest already taking damage. Natalik's taking big hits right there, crossing. Very unlucky, and Blindfire is going across already towards Pyro's positions. Let's see how this goes. Of course, Tedster and Natalik's holding up on this ridge. They're probably going to push straight past to the next ridge to try and counter Aska and Guest. They just have to watch out for a counterplay by Oscar and Andrew through the low side. Dutch bar, obviously knowing the entire team is here, is probably going to cut through the middle to try and come up behind. Tedster playing safe right there. Natalik's covering. Digital Dan taking big HE hits there, trying to put pressure on the cap circle. He might actually get punished very heavily for this. And there goes one shot. Ted also takes a shot in return. Takes a second shot for Dan. Third shot for Dan. This is not good news for Dan. Dutch could very easily come in over the top and just clip out and take him out for free, in all fairness. Pyro, of course, still up top. Not able to make any of these shots connect just yet. But he does have good lines, and if the enemy try to push out, they will suffer a lot of damage and a lot of HP because of Pyro's position. Dutchbot flanking around, obviously trying to clear Pyro. If Pyro gets spotted up there, he's going to go down very quickly. Guest taking an equal amount of damage. Digital Dan also on low health. Pyro is spotted, takes instant damage right there, down to 500 HP. All the Carnarvons were ready for that. They knew Dutch was going for the spot. Natalik's moved up. Ted watching the low ground. Obscene trying to help out as well. Digital, Natalik's, and Obscene need to pick off Aska and Guest right now because the double Carnarvons are pushing down the low side. There goes Aska. Now Guest needs to go down very quickly, and Natalik's needs to turn around. Obscene needs to help out on the low side here. Natalik's turning around. Pyro coming in from behind. Obscene coming in from behind. Dutch trying to come in behind, trying to clip out Pyro, I assume. Digital Dan is in a tough situation here. If Dutch takes out Dan, Guest can now freely play, and that is exactly what he is doing. There goes Tedster, but in return, Oscar takes a lot of damage. Obscene needs to get his HP in the fight right now before Natalik's goes down. There goes Pyro. There goes Oscar. Still a very close fight here, but unfortunately, there's just not enough guns on PauseChamps' team right now to make this work out. Dutch is probably going to pick off Natalik's. Clearly on the reload note, going for Obscene, going to get a full clip in right here. And this is game right here, unfortunately for Obscene. All alone now against 3 targets. Will he manage to pick off Andrew in time? I doubt it. Dutch will probably clip out before he can do anything. There we go. And there goes Obscene. And that is game over at 1-0 to DaUlew. There we go, lads. Now, the next match, PauseChamps defending now. DaUlew attacking. DaUlew running at 5100, Triple Khan, and a T32. Of course, Oscar making big plays back on Himmelsdorf in the T32. Will we see a repeat of that? Of course, Andrew, a guy to watch out here for possible MVP plays. PauseChamps running quadruple Khan and a T44. We'll see how this goes. Of course, scoreline currently is 1-0 to DaUlew. And PauseChamps need to make a comeback right now if they want to win this. Of course, we're probably going to see a very similar strat on both sides. There's not much else that's usually done on high level on this map. It's usually just an exact mirror of what we saw last match, with a couple of slight variations. Of course, Obscene playing there, Natalik's playing there. It is more or less an exact repeat. The only difference being Tedster being slightly further up and not where Pyro is. Of course, the big question here is, will Pyro be quick enough to get into position in time? There we go. Oscar making the play, making the push. Dan and Natalik's need to pick him out here before he crosses. 1 shot goes in. 2 shots go in. They need to track him in the open here and take him out before he gets any further back. 3 shots in. Natalik's will probably get a 4th shot in. There we go. That is big damage. His ammo rack's gone down. A 5th shot. That is not good news for Oscar. A 6th shot. Oscar down to 1 shot. Obscene takes a couple of HE rounds in return, but that is not a good trade for DaUlew. Oscar is now getting shot at with HE. Let's see how this goes for him. Pyro making the same rotation that Dutch made earlier, possibly with a slight variation. Obscene starting to take damage now. Dan and Natalik's need to play low side, in all fairness, but they got to watch out for the 5100 Andrew holding that corner. There goes Oscar to Obscene. Very well played right there. That is game over for Oscar right there. Let's see how this goes. This, of course, is a huge play, and for anyone that doesn't understand the importance of taking out the cap, the tank that goes for the cap, is it removes all sorts of pressure. You can now just camp it out and take all the time in the world that you need. Pyra is now trying to make a play, moving in slightly closer into a position. Where is the fourth tank? I assume they are up on the hill. Yes, it's Dutchbar up top, who's also taking a bit of damage. Guess is trying to flex out because he knows Pyra is going to be making that rotation soon. Of course, Obscene and Natalik's doing damage to Aska. Tedster also moving up into position now, possibly looking to support Pyra against Guest here if Guest decides to push. Very close in position. Guest is starting to push into Pyra's position. If Tedster notices this, he can move into position in time to support, but they do have to watch out for Dutch farming. Aska down to low health on 1100. Here comes Guest. Pyra puts a HE round in, trying to blow the tracks off, I assume. Tedster realizes he needs to help out here, so Tedster is slowly rotating around. The other three just need to hold on for long enough. Pyra taking a bit of damage. Tedster's actually completely leaving the fight. He might actually be going for the hull down at the back. We shall see how this goes. Of course, a bit of a stalemate here, and of course this is the importance of taking out Oscar when he went for the cap circle. Is there's not much else the green team can do. DaUlew, there's not much they can do other than try to push through on one flank. I guess he's gonna have to try and push on Pyra. If he does that, Obscene can over peak for shots, and of course we have Tedster playing right here supporting. Guess is in a really bad spot there. There's not much he can do right now. Of course, Andrew needs to make a play soon. He is sitting on full health, fully loaded clip, completely out of the game. Of course, trying to watch the double Carnarvons, but one Carnarvon could very easily leave position. Guess is going for the push in Pyra. This is not a good idea because if he pushes, Pyra just needs to hold instead of backing off, and Tedster can just farm. There goes one shot. Pyra is probably going to overpeak as soon as he sees Guest fire. There's a second shot. Guest just fired, and now Pyra is going to overpeak, put one in, and then back off. There it is, 669, and that's an ammo rack, which is not good for Guest because now he has to burn his repair kit. Of course, Dutch and Aska trying to support. Aska's trying to make a play. Now, if Obscene, Dan, and Natalik's realize that Aska's making a play on the left side, they could very easily push down the zero line and clean off the 5100, or just leave one guy to defend. Obscene is relatively low HP here, and there is, of course, a Dutch bar that needs to be kept in mind, playing at the back there, sniping away, covering the zero line and protecting Andrew. Here comes the second Carnarvon. Obscene realizes he needs to get into play, so he does. Of course, shooting HE, which is not ideal. Guest down to 370 HP. Pyra goes down. Aska takes another shot. Tedster is still in a good position. Puts another shot into Aska. Aska has to burn repair kit there. Aska takes a third shot down to 200 HP. Guest and Aska both low HP. Dan is flexing out. Metallics is still holding in position. And this is not good news for DaUlew at all. However, Obscene is taking a lot of damage from the hill. He needs to turn his attention back to Dutchbart playing up top here, who's doing wonderful work, but on 900 HP, 2 minutes on the clock. What can DaUlew do here? Andrew completely out of game the entire match. Very well played from PauseChamps, keeping him busy. Tedster clearly just got tracked, I believe, and just repaired, I assume. Dan moving into position. Realistically, right now, Dan and Tedster should just push across the open, clean off Guess and Aska, and then start counter-picking Dutchbart's position. Dutchbart starting to push in. Guest trying to leave. Realistically, Dan and Ted need to push in right now. There goes Aska. Good shot from Dan. And Tedster can now move up and support. Andrew trying to make a play here on the other flank, but down 700 HP already. Let's see what he can do here. Natalik's obviously still full of health. Knows this guy is sitting here. We'll see how this goes. Guest down to 92 HP. There goes Guest. And now it's just Dutchbart and Andrew against Natalik's, Tedster, Dan, and Obscene. This looks like we are going to a tiebreaker on encounter steps, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Andrew going in. He will not be able to clip out in time on Natalik's unless he aims for the ammo rack, which is on the bottom right of the hull there. But I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Tactical ram from Natalik's there. There goes Andrew. And now Obscene versus Dutchbart. Dutchbart might actually be able to take Obscene down. There he goes. But 48 seconds on the clock. 624 hit points with a burnt repair kit. It's not looking good for Dutch. Down on 323 HP. Tedster coming in on full health. And Dan on a lot of HP. Of course, these guys are just pushing him back. And that is game for PauseChamps. That is 1-1. Off to the tiebreaker we go. 5 Carnarvons versus 5 Carnarvons. Let the Cupola sniping begin. This will be a very entertaining game. The scoreline is currently 1-1 to PauseChamp and DaUlew. Let's see who will win this match. Of course, everyone running a Carnarvon right now. The big question is the equipment that will be used. We shall see how this goes. 3 seconds on the timer. Of course, PauseChamps on the north spawn and DaUlew on the south spawn. It looks like it's going to be a full Rammer, Turbo, and hardening lineup from all players. Yes, yes it is. A Rammer, Turbo, and hardening on all players. This will be very entertaining, to say the least. Teams are getting very close. Natalik's managing to take the ideal position right there on the hull down. Might be able to sneak a shot in on the crossing. I doubt it, actually. The entire team looks like it's going low, except Asker. It looks like a perfect mirror on both ends, except the only difference being Obscene sniping from the back. This is not good news, actually, because if the enemies push up very hard, Natalix could find himself in big trouble. There we go. Andrew takes big damage right there. The enemy team pushing, not realizing... PauseChamps pushing right in, not realizing that they don't have the number advantage on this side. This is very bad news for PauseChamps, because Dan is already down to 79 HP. Ted's trying to shield as best as he can, but Natalix and Obscene are completely out of play here. And this is going to be very, very bad. Asker manages to get in. Natalix getting into position now. Obscene getting into position, but it's too little, too late. The entire heavy tank battalion that went for the cap circle just went down. 4 tanks still alive, and that was not good at all. That push should have never happened right there. But GG, well played. It looks like DaUlew are going to win this, unless there is some miraculous 4 Amorex we see. Natalix obviously trying to help out Obscene here by shooting the guys in the backup here, which is the ideal situation here instead of going around for Dutch, because he needs to help Obscene out. There we go. Natalix might be able to pick off Dutch Bot right there. There we go. Now, the big question is, can Natalix clutch against Guest and Asker? It's still winnable. I've seen it happen before, but the question is, can Natalix do it? Yes or no? Of course, both teams just fully pushed in, for the main reason being they didn't want to sit in a Cupola sniping game for 10 entire minutes. Of course, here comes the HE rounds, and Natalix is soon about to get pushed by Guest. I don't think he realizes. There we go. He's noticed. Here comes Guest. There is still a potential for an Amorak. That is the Amorak right there that he is aiming at. If he hits it and pens it and detonates it, the game could change very quickly. Unfortunately, a tracking shot, which is not ideal right now. If Natalix aims slightly more to the left, he will be aiming directly at the Carnarvon's Amorak right there. But too little, too late. Guest is just going to go in for the ram now, doing it in style. There goes Natalix, and that is game over. DaUlew have won 2-1, and we now have our first place winners.